Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films. Back again with Torchwood. Last time on Torchwood, we had day 4 of Children of Earth. That's how you say it. Well, that's not how you say it. That's how you weirdly say it, but Children of Earth. Day 4. The British government and I guess all governments were figuring out what to do about the 456's request for 10% of all children on Earth. And through a lot of talks, they did figure out a way of selecting the 10%, and they have decided that they're going to go ahead with this. However, before they were able to tell the 456 that they had figured out what they were going to do, Torchwood came in and basically said, we're not doing this and we would rather go to war. In the process, the 456 locked down Thames House and Yanto died as a result of it. We are down to 2 members of Torchwood. Also, Clem died too, which sucks. We're down to 2 members of Torchwood and Rhys, basically. We're not sure what we're going to do. Yeah. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. Let's stick to this episode and previous episodes of Torchwood, Doctor Who Classic, and the Sarah Jane Adventures that I have reacted to. And with that being said, let's finish this off. Let's get this done.
Only your people will deliver the children.
Oh my gosh. Children of Earth. Day 5. It's going down.
There's one thing I always meant to ask Jack. I wanted to know about that doctor of his. The man who appears out of nowhere and saves the world, except sometimes he doesn't.
Oh shit, yeah.
All
Where's the doctor
in
now?
History, when there was no sign of him. Sometimes the doctor must look at this planet and turn away in shame.
Oh shit.
Are they keeping you alive?
No,
So it's not energy.
they create chemicals. The chemicals are good.
Good in what way?
We feel good. The chemicals are good.
What are they,
They're
fucking
like-
drugs?
Drugs.
Yeah. They get high off of
Treating your
children.
drugs.
And what's that got to do with me?
Your children will be inoculated.
What?
I see.
But are they
Your
going to
children
be...
will then be taken to one of the designated rendezvous points. And they'll become part of the process.
You're taking his
It's our
kids.
duty now to think beyond this.
They're just girls! They're not... They're not like...
Sorry, John. I'm really very sorry.
Alright.
And I'm really very busy.
Oh my fucking god. Time to go get Jack.
You want to have kids in a world like this, Rhys?
You're not getting rid of it.
Is that right?
Oh damn.
Take the next left. Yanto's sister lives off the Cromwell estate.
Jesus Christ, we're talking about abortions.
I'm not saying he was perfect. You know that better than me. John Frobisher was a good man.
Yeah. What the fuck am I watching?
Now, think I should get back to work.
And the one person you need right now is Jack Harkness.
Yeah. Oh shit. What the fuck is happening? Oh, it's them, isn't it? They're going to get Jack. Oh shit. Oh shit, they're gonna go fight. Oh fuck. Come on, man, you can do it. Yeah, time to go kick some ass. Shields aren't gonna help.
I've analyzed those transmissions for 40 years and never broken.
Oh! Damn.
What do you think, Captain? She told me you were good.
Think you can
Was
join
she right?
Torchwood. Ah.
Let's get to work.
Okay, we got a little bit of hope. I haven't written anything down in a while. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little better that we're doing something now.
I would never, never, I wouldn't do that to you, sweetheart. No, I wouldn't, and I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's at least something.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, we're all getting caught up in the moment. This is sad as fuck.
We have up to 80% of the designated children. Is that enough?
All of them.
All of them?
Of the designated.
That's not a fun all of them moment.
That sound, Mr. Decker, what's that sound?
I don't know, it's new.
Exactly. It's new.
That was pain, wasn't it?
Shut up.
Same way as them.
I'll find something else.
What does he mean?
The children.
Don't listen to him.
Decker, tell me.
The 456 use children to establish the resonance.
Meaning what?
We need a child. That child's gonna fry.
No. Whatever child would be a speaker would die.
No, Dad. No, tell them no.
One
Shit.
child or millions?
Dad. No.
Jack.
Dad, tell them no.
Fuck. God damn it, Jack.
Quick!
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. I might be pushing. Oh no. This would be it. Jack, this would be a good time to learn how to transfer your powers. Oh, fuck, yeah, it's dying. And so is he. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. We saved all but one. Technically 3 kids. Because John's kids died too. And he doesn't have any like latent bad wolf powers because of Jack. We're not going there. It's a special kind of show that kills a fucking child.
And while I was there, I used the emergency protocols to sign out a particular piece of evidence. contact lenses, sir.
The Torchwood contacts.
Torchwood contact lenses.
Yeah.
And Lois was very helpful. She told me how they worked.
Oh, shit.
I can hardly feel them, sir.
She's wearing them. Whoa.
But everything after the events of today, you feel, as you said in your very own words, sir.
Lucky.
Lucky.
Oh, fuck. Take this fucker down.
You won't dare.
Is that all, sir?
Oh, that might be the greatest thing of all in this fucking show. Is that he's getting taken down. Oh, fuck. Not only did you lose your grandson, I'm pretty sure you've lost your daughter now, Jack. Yep, she's going somewhere else. Six months later. Okay. What exactly happened to Torchwood, anyway?
What for?
For me.
Yeah. For the doctor, for Martha.
It wasn't your fault.
I think it was.
No.
Stephen and Yanto and Owen and Tasha and Susie and
Well, Susie,
all of them.
Susie was her own
Because
fault.
of me.
But you saved us? Didn't you?
You saved them. You gotta think about it like that.
And I am sorry, Jack, but you cannot just run away. Cannot run away.
Oh, yes, I can. Just watch me.
That's what the doctor would do. The doctor just keeps going.
Let's go home, yeah?
Yeah. Let's... I guess you have your life back. Yep, it's just it. Something finally broke him. After everything. After everything he's been through. The Daleks. The Master. Abaddon. His brother. They broke him. 4, 5, 6 broke him. Holy shit. The whole show is different now. I know there's only one more season. I know there's only one more season of Torchwood. But that's going to be a very different season. I honestly don't know if they're going to bring back Jack. They might not. Okay. I really don't know if they're going to bring back Jack. They might not. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to bring back Jack. they're not bringing back Yanto. Yanto's dead. Just like Tasha and Owen. I don't even know if they're going to bring back Gwen. That kind of seems like the end. This honestly seems like the end of Torchwood. I have no idea what's going to happen next season. Like, it might even... Who knows? Maybe they don't bring anyone back. Maybe they just... Maybe they don't. Maybe they just... But it still has to be Torchwood. Wow. Are you getting tired of me, like, with having these long pauses in episodes? Because I've been doing that a lot, haven't I? It broke him. It broke him, and he's gone. Alright. Well, it's gonna do me no good just sitting here not talking. There's a video, for God's sake. Oh. So, got my notes, as always. And I'm gonna go over them. Alright. First up, I wrote down Gwen/Doctor. That was an emotional thing to start off with. Just the fact that Gwen... The fact that Gwen was making this video about, you know, what it was like when the world ended, basically. Despite the fact that they did save the world. And they saved everyone... except for Steven. But that was an interesting thing. You could almost equate that to, like, even not just, like, you could, like, think, like, not just the Doctor, but if there was, like, a higher power, like, if you're a person of faith, you could probably think the same thing. You know, when you look at this world, how would some higher deity, you know, occasionally not just look away? And she said that with the Doctor, that in this case being the Doctor, and it's like, you know, she said, like, why doesn't the Doctor save the world sometimes? And she said, it's like, because there must be times, it must be times like this when the Doctor looks away from the earth in shame. Now, the thing about that is, you know, us knowing the Doctor, we would say, like, well, even if he does look upon humans with shame, he would still come here to save them. And the Doctor would have tried to find a way to get them to stop the 456 without sacrificing Steven. You know, that shows you the inherent difference between Doctor Who and Torchwood. Is that if this was Doctor Who, they would have saved everyone. But because this is Torchwood, that's why we had to resort to that, basically. So, yeah. So that immediately was an interesting scene thinking about that, because that is sort of the big question with all this stuff happening on Earth. Where is the Doctor? Why wouldn't the Doctor show up and help? And so that even though that it's not really an explanation, it's a poignant message of sometimes the Doctor must look upon the Earth and then turn his head in shame. It's like, Jesus. So the next thing I wrote down, was kid drugs, basically. That is that may be one of the biggest, like, this is horrible. The fact that because, we talked about it last episode that, what if the 456 are using the children, sort of like in the Matrix, and are using them for energy. That's something, that's been used, like I said, in the Matrix. So it's like, okay, well, maybe it's that. And it's like, it's not that. They have no need for the children, which probably is even more poignant than them actually needing it. Like, they don't need the children. They only want the children because they use them like a drug. It makes them... They release chemicals that makes them happy. They use children as drugs, which is something... I don't know if anyone's ever thought of that before. I don't know if anyone's ever thought of, using beings just as a drug, And so the fact that we're sacrificing all these children just so they can be used as narcotics, basically, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? So yeah, that was especially like a that's disturbing, man. The fact that they use children as drugs. Okay. I wrote down John's sacrifice. We'll get to the whole in a minute, but John's sacrifice. So saying that, like, they didn't have to do this. They said that all the children and grandchildren of everyone around this, cabinet table will be exempt, but he specifically singled out Frobisher and said, your children are going to have to be sacrificed in order to keep up our appearance. Like, you will willingly send them. You will show that you are willingly sending them so that the people have, confidence in what's happening. If the government is doing it willingly, then we should do it willingly. But then they will be taken, and you are going to be portrayed as the victim of the 456 to better bolster, our image when this all happens, so that we can, keep some sort of order. And John, rightfully so, is pissed that he has to do this. And that whole scene, there was barely any eye contact in that scene, because the Prime Minister knew what he was doing. He knew he knew this was hard and this was wrong. He knew this was wrong, but still, and the entire time he's basically looking down until he says, I'm sorry. Then he looks him straight in the eye. Even that, it's a little hard. And it's like, Jesus. The next thing I wrote down was Gwen/Rhys kid. Because we did have that talk a little bit about, Gwen doesn't want a child to be born into this world. A world where the governments are willing to sacrifice children. Screen turned black, whatever. Where the governments are willing to sacrifice children. Yeah. She didn't want a child born there, and they did sort of... She did mention, getting rid of it, basically. Having an abortion, basically. And Rhys was like, no, you can't do that. And it's like, I was like, are you sure about that? And they had to drop it really quickly to move on with the scene. But it is good that they at least said later that, Rhys was like, you didn't mean that, right? And Gwen was like, no, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean it. Now, whether or not that's true, I'm unsure, honestly. But, I mean, we saw in the 6 months later, they are keeping it. So, that could have just been a moment, like, she got caught up in the moment and said that. And it's like, she didn't mean that. And she said that later. I did not mean that. So, that's all of this is like, ugh. Okay, I wrote down John Frobisher. This has been such a fascinating character throughout these episodes. The fact that he is sort of the fall guy, where it's like, he is making stuff happen, but, like the Prime Minister said, I think it was in episode 3, but like the Prime Minister said, it's like, he is expendable. Like, we can throw him under the bus, basically. But even though, and I don't know, it's hard to talk. But all of this, and he's still having to do all this. He's having to do this. He has to come up with how they're going to get all the kids to the places and stuff like that. But I liked how, shit. Anyway, I liked the conversation between Bridget and Lois about John and how he is a good man. And I do believe that. Throughout all this, it's like, yes, he is having to make a lot of tough decisions, and it sucks that he has to do this, but you can still tell this is a good man in a bad situation. Whereas the Prime Minister is not a good man. That dude is a fucking asshole. So, yeah. And then, oh my god. And then just when he goes there, and when he goes to the house, and I thought maybe he would try to sneak them out or something. No, as soon as he opened that box and he pulled out a gun, I was like, no, fucking no, don't do this, come on. And, his hands were really shaking putting in the clip and everything. And then, just that scene of walking up the stairs and then going into the bedroom, closing the door, and it's just, fuck, that he had to do that. But he did that so that his children would not be used by the 456, because as sad as it is, it does make sense why he did that. Like, I understand why he did that. As horrible as it is, I understand it, because he doesn't want to give up his children. He doesn't want them to die or be taken, but he does not want to live with the fact that his 2 daughters were taken by aliens and used as drugs, basically. So, and he fired 4 shots. So he killed his daughters, he killed his wife, and then he killed himself. Which makes sense, honestly. It makes sense that he killed himself after all of that. Like, having to kill his family, killing his daughters so that they wouldn't be used, killing the mother so she wouldn't have to live with it, and then killing himself so he wouldn't have to live with it. Fuck this show. This is not what I expected when I started Doctor Who a year ago. I was like, oh, I'll watch Doctor Who. That's that, British sci-fi show. It'll be fun. And then I watched and I was like, oh, this is goofy as shit. I love it. And it's like, obviously it has its serious moments, but it's like, oh, this is fun and I love it. And then I get to Torchwood and it's like, ugh, I can't deal, man. I can't deal. The saving grace of this is that, well, first off, after this, I'm going to go get some lunch because it's midday, but after this, today I am going to record the next Doctor Who episode, and that is going to be a therapy session. So, at least I hope. It better not be dark. Oh God, I hope not. No, maybe it'll just be a fun adventure, right? Guys? Oh God, I hope so. Oh my God, we're not even halfway through this list. Okay. The next thing I wrote down was saving the kids. That was good that that was good that they did their best to save all the kids that Yanto's family were taking care of. They did miss, a few, and eventually the soldiers did catch up to them. But good on the brother-in-law. What was his name? Was it Brian Greene? No, I think that was the Prime Minister. Alice Carter, Decker, P.C. Andy, Louis Abiba, Johnson, General Pierce. It wouldn't be the same. Oh, it was Johnny. Yeah, Johnny Davies, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It was Johnny. Good on Johnny for, getting his friends together. And, even if it wasn't successful, but going in and, actually trying to stop the soldiers. That was good. That was good. Honestly, like he was a little bit annoying at first, but Johnny he's a good man. He's doing what he can. So that was at least good. And then the fact that Andy got in there and helped, that was also good. So yeah. So I wrote down wavelength 456. That is interesting that they thought to use the wavelength against the 456. And then figuring it out, it's like, okay, well, that's basically how they killed Clem. So let's throw it back at them, basically, because it must hurt them. So like they were killing him, and then they realized that noise that the 456 were making was a pain noise. So it's like, okay, well then we just need to throw that back at them and kill them. But using a child, only Torchwood could get away with this. Only Torchwood. There, you go to any other show, that is like a cardinal sin in television. Like an unspoken cardinal sin. You don't kill the child. Even in movies, it's basically you don't kill a child. Unless it's as dark as Torchwood. And Torchwood is one of the few shows where they can pull that off. No, I don't know if I've really... Okay, Game of Thrones, I've seen kids fucking die on Game of Thrones. But still, Game of Thrones can get away with that too. But Torchwood is sort of on that level that they can do that, because any other show, that's a no-go area. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. But Torchwood did. Fuck. And not only did they kill a child, but they did kill Jack's grandson. They killed Jack's grandson. And it does come full circle from the first episode when... It does come full circle from the first episode when, he goes to see his daughter and his grandson, and she realized, like, okay, you want to spend time with him on a day when something, strange happened to children around the world. It's like she figured it out pretty quickly. It's like, you are not experimenting on him. You are not using him. And Jack agreed. Jack went along with it. He's like, you're right. I won't do it. And you could just see the back and forth just on his face, with Decker and the military woman, I guess. Did she ever get a name? I don't think she did, but it was like, I don't think she ever got a name. Unless... Oh, it's just Johnson. It's just Johnson. Alright, well, she didn't need a name, but when Decker and Johnson are, saying, it's like, well, we need a child. It's like, we can use a child then. And Alice saying, like, no, you can't do this. You can't use a child. It's like that child will burn up. You can't do this. And you just see Jack. His expression doesn't change. Probably because, honestly, it's not even a back and forth with him. It is yes, we have to do this, but he has to bring himself to give the order, basically. To go get Steven and use him. And sure enough, it worked. It worked, and they did kill the 456. And I guess the child that was in there, too. They killed the 456, but at the cost of Steven's life. But all the other children were saved. Except for Steven and Frobisher's kids. Fuck. And the next thing I wrote down was Bridget and Lois. The fact that she figured out how Lois was recording the meetings, and she got the Torchwood contact lenses and was recording everything. Was recording that entire conversation where, after all this, the Prime Minister feels lucky and is like, oh, well, it's the Americans' problem now. I can save my skin. And she's just like, no, you can't. I'm shutting you down, you fucking bastard. And I like, too, that even, like, the other woman there was like, yeah, we're gonna end this. We're taking you down. It's like, that may be, like, the one silver lining of this whole season is that this douchebag of a prime minister is going down. So, yeah. So that's at least good. And then the last two things I wrote down are Jack Harkness and running away. I get why Jack is running. He's getting away from Earth. Because he thinks, like, I should not be here because pretty much everything around me dies. Everything around him dies. Susie, Tosh, Owen, Yanto, Steven, they all die. Everything is his fault. To him, at least. So, I understand why he's like, I should not be here anymore. And he's leaving. He's left. He's getting aboard that, whatever ship is on the edge of the solar system. He's getting the hell out of Dodge. And, Gwen can't even convince him to stay. You can't even convince him to stay. And she says, like, you can't just run away from this. And he's like, yeah, I can. I'm running away from this. And honestly, it's not too far off from what the Doctor would do. Now, the Doctor would keep going on Earth, but there's a reason the Doctor always runs. He runs from everything. He ran from the time vortex originally. The Doctor always runs, but he still feels a sense of duty towards the Earth. Like, he knows that he still, when something wrong happens, he has to go save the Earth. And Jack is completely running away from the Earth. So, it is a bit different, I suppose. So, yeah, will Jack be back next season? I don't know. I honestly don't know. He might, but he might not. I don't know if Gwen's coming back next season. honestly. You know, with Torchwood basically dead, Torchwood is gone. Right now, Torchwood is Gwen and nothing else. Because there's no one else at Torchwood. Everyone else is either dead or they're gone like Jack. So, I don't know where we're going next season. I don't know if Jack is going to come back. I don't know if Gwen's going to restart Torchwood or just become a cop again. I don't know. I have no idea what next season holds for us, but we'll find out in a little while, though. As a quick announcement, Torchwood is basically taking a hiatus again. Basically, once I get back to Series 5 of Doctor Who, that's when Torchwood Series 4 starts up. So Torchwood and Doctor Who Series 5 will line up perfectly, basically. So, yeah, next week we're going to be back to the Sarah Jane Adventures. We're actually going to be watching twice a week. So every Sunday and Monday, pretty much. Every Sunday and Monday through Series 3 of Sarah Jane, we're going to be watching those. And on Wednesdays, we're going to be doing Doctor Who and Classic Doctor Who. And following that period of, Sarah Jane and Doctor Who and the Doctor Who specials, then once I start Series 5 of Doctor Who, I will start Series 4 of Torchwood. So yeah, I don't know. I'm left with questions and sadness about this season. So yeah, a lot of questions and a lot of sadness. And that's Torchwood for you. I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Torchwood reactions, you can click on the playlist. You can subscribe if you haven't done that already. And be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media. Links below in the description. See you guys later.